All right, this meeting of the school board will come to order for December the 16th, 2015. I'm going to ask Dr. Foster if he would lead us in prayer and lead us in the pledge, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing upon the actions of this board today. We ask your blessings, too, upon our first responders and those in foreign countries and locally and within our country, the first responders, those people who are there to protect us and to protect our way of life. We ask, too, that you would bless our children as we complete this first semester of the school year, and that you would give them great blessing over the holidays, keep them safe, and return them to us at the beginning of the second semester, safe and healthy. We also ask, too, Lord, that you would remember all of those whom we remember most assuredly during this Christmas time of the year, and that we keep in mind that Christmas is, in fact, a time for Christ being in our lives. These things, in his name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion for the approval of the previous minutes?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do I hear a motion for agenda adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the agenda adoption. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Announcements. Mr. Harwell, do you have any announcements?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Battles?
The only announcement I have is on Saturday, the Mobile Optimist Club will be recognizing the Waysome High School football team. Waysome High School football team, who the previous 2 years had been 1-9, had advanced all the way to 5-5 into the playoffs. They will be recognized as the team of the year. And I think we'll be the only public school at that recognition, along with McGill and all the other ones. I think it was a great accomplishment. They called themselves the Steel 24 because they only had 24 boys. But the nights that I stood on the sideline with them, I could see the type of energy that I like to have in all of the students in the public school system, that despite the boys being hurt, despite them being behind, they never gave up and they kept on fighting. And it reminds me of Alfred Lord Tennyson, the charge of the Light Brigade. He said they kept on marching. So thank you.
Okay. Dr. Crenshaw?
No, sir.
Dr. Foster?
Yes, I understand from various sources that one of the schools in the western area out there, Dawes Intermediate School, was informed by the Blue Ribbon Committee that visited this past week that they would be receiving that award sometime later in the school year, but during the 2016 school year. So we'd like to recognize them in that respect at this time.
I think I read something about that also. I'd like to say that I've attended, like a lot of the other board commissioners, a lot of Christmas programs, a lot of wonderful things going on. I'm waiting with bated breath to hear about one that's going to be occurring. Is it tomorrow night, Dr. Foster?
That is correct.
Okay, and where would that place be now, in case we all want to show up for it?
That will be at Bryant High School, but it is Booth Elementary who will be providing the program, and this morning I was down there to participate in practice.
Well, and I might add, if there are any Elvis lovers out there, this might be your opportunity to take advantage of it. Also, Ms. Peak, today we had the culmination of the Stuff the Bus, and Ms. Phillips has a lot of information about that. If you don't mind, I'm going to give her an opportunity to tell us a little bit about it.
That's great.
Ms. Phillips? Yeah, go ahead and put that up there for me, please.
Well, we can officially announce that in the past week since you guys started the Stuff the Bus campaign, we collected 4,353 toys. that we are donating to needy children throughout Mobile County. So we took them to WKRG, and some of them we delivered to our social workers to give to older students. So thank you. And all the schools were very cooperative. One elementary school gave us 445 toys. And I understand some of the schools still have toys that are calling us and letting us know.
So that's an increase over last year, is that
Yes,
correct?
it's an increase of
That's
about, yeah,
fantastic.
400, 500 over last year.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. Ms. Peak, you have any announcements for us?
I'd like to compliment the Communications Department and then also other staff members who shall remain nameless, who are Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus.
Absolutely.
But it truly is a labor of love. A lot of organization and work goes into that, and 2 buses that were stuffed with toys. And many of those provide an opportunity for our schools to help Santa deliver gifts to all children who need that attention in the system. Also, let me add to all of the programs, the concerts, the chorus performances, the plays, the sing-alongs have been wonderful in all of the schools, and it's been great to see all of you participating in those programs. A number of our local legislative delegation, our county commissioners, and city council in various municipalities have been at those programs also. I was at Evans this morning for their younger students' performance and their choir performance. So what need is there for presence when really you get to be involved with the students and all of these activities of all ages? So it has been great. I think you can truly say the spirit of Christmas is in the Mobile County Public School System. Tomorrow we send our children home, and then the next day we send our adults home. And I will add with that, it will be a break that is needed, and we'll all come back refreshed for 2016.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Superintendent. We're now going to move on to reports and recognitions. Ms. Phillips?
I'd like to call forward Mr. Stringfellow and Bubba O'Gwen, Market President of BB&T Bank, and Mark Spivey, Business Services Officer from BB&T, as well as Mobile County Public Schools social workers Larissa Dickinson, Denise Reamer, and CJ Bendoff. Right. We are pleased to announce a partnership between the Mobile County Public School System and the Branch Baking and Trust Corporation, also known as BB&T. The BB&T Homeless Outreach Program has donated funding to school districts across the southeastern United States to bolster their efforts in removing barriers to education and providing stability to homeless students and families. Bubba O'Gwen, Market President, and Mark Spivey, Business Services Officer from BB&T, are here today to present a check for $175,000 to support homeless education in Mobile County. This grant is a huge boost to our program and will be targeted specifically to help identified homeless students and their families achieve stability and succeed academically.
You know, it's getting kind of nice to hold these big
Yeah.
In the spirit of the Christmas season, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Green, Mr. Spivey, the ladies down there for this donation here. In the spirit of the season, I think this is a wonderful gift and so forth to it, and I hope it does really good work for us. And I have a certificate here that says, a certificate of recognition awarded to BB&T for donation to homeless education, and it's signed by Ms. Peak and all the members of the school board, and I'd like to say thank you very much for what you've done.
And Dr. Stringfellow, just a couple of comments about
Yes, sir. I'm
BB&T
sorry.
and this gift, and just to give you a little bit of background. BB&T, we are about the 10th largest bank in the country. I'll give you just a quick snapshot, because a lot of folks don't know. We're about the 10th largest bank in the country, and we're headquartered in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We entered the Alabama market about 6 years ago with the purchase of Colonial Bank. And if you were to look at our mission statement, you will see right there that it talks about making our communities a better place to live. And this is one way that we demonstrate we make our communities a better place to live. There's a quick story behind this donation. Our CEO, Kelly King, one night, he lives in Winston-Salem, one night he's watching the 60 Minutes show, and it talks about the Magic Kingdom and how the Magic Kingdom outside of Orlando is the most wonderful place on the earth, wonderful place in the world. And so then he goes on to talk about the homelessness that goes on right outside the gates of the Magic Kingdom, and the number of children that don't have a permanent place to live. So he watches that. He takes that video clip to his executive team on Monday morning and shows it to them. He says, "Okay, now that we know this is going on with children in our communities, in a market we have a presence in Central Florida. All right, now that we know this is going on in Central Florida, in the market that we're in, what are we going to do about it?" And so from there on, about 2 years ago, we started funding grants outside of Orlando and the Central Florida area. And this year, I'm very pleased that we identified 2 counties in Alabama, Mobile County in the south and Walker County in the north. And so this is how we demonstrate, this is one way how we demonstrate we try to make the communities in which we live and work a better place to live. So thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
If I could add a little bit of information to that, with this grant, the social workers that you just saw wrote the grant and applied for it and received it. What people may not know is actually they are truly super women. You don't see the S on their capes, but they have them. These 3 ladies serve approximately 5,000 students who are classified as homeless. During this time of year, I was just asking, it's about 6,000. And they know these students. They are advocates for their students. They are some of the most passionate people we have in the Mobile County Public School System. But many times when you travel through the county, watch where our buses stop. Motels and sometimes it's cars that are parked almost where these ladies know that students are living, and homeless shelters and those types of things. So it's really, truly a very meaningful outreach. And like I said, they are very passionate about what we do. We appreciate BB&T, and when Mr. O'Gwen spoke about their mission statement, I go there for junior achievement board meetings, and it's there on the wall. And one day I was studying it, and truly, that's the basis of what they do. So we appreciate BB&T. We appreciate this very generous grant. And certainly, if you'll let your CEO know, it will be put to good use here in Mobile County. So thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you again like that.
Thank you.
Thanks for those remarks, Ms. Peak, to remind us about where the need is like that. Ms. Phillips?
Okay, we have one more. Dr. Crenshaw, can you come forward? And Dr. Lafitte. When STAR Universal screening data showed that some students at Scarborough had reading deficiencies, Principal Jason Lafitte and several of his teachers worked with the Division of Curriculum and Instruction to develop an intensive reading program. Students in the program were pulled out of their regular language arts courses, placed in groups according to reading level, and worked intensely to improve their reading abilities. The results were amazing. After only 30 days of instruction using the Sandi system, 63% of 6th graders made gains and 75% of 7th graders made gains. The program is ongoing and students continue to improve their reading comprehension and fluency skills. Today, we would like to commend Dr. Lafitte and his staff for accepting the challenge to think outside the box to meet the needs of students.
Dr. Lafitte, in recognition of your outstanding service and the efforts of your teachers and administrators, we want to commend you for the excellent job of increasing the reading schools over there. I did hear from the instructional specialist about the program and the type of intense parent participation that she got. That was a key, that the parents participated in pledging that the students would come to get the service. And that's very important. So on behalf of the Mobile County Public School System, we want to say thank you so much. And we present you with the certificate. I want you to share with the faculty and staff that says the Mobile County Public Schools certificate of recognition award to Scarborough Middle School, innovative breeding and intervention, signed by all the members of the Mobile County Public School System and the superintendent. Continue to think outside the box.
If I could add something to that, too.
Please, Ms. Speed.
It's Christmas I'm talking to today, but Scarborough Middle School is where they do think outside of the box, and they are open to implementing programs. Basically, what this didn't say was this is a group of students who were so far behind in reading, you could consider them almost non-readers, and the progress was just phenomenal. Mrs. Moore made contact with the Sunday system, and the staff in academic affairs brought it forward. It's been very successful. Scarborough, I'll also remind you, is the school where they even launch boats and build boats to teach mathematics. So this is what happens when you have a principal who is open to new ideas, who leads it, and the benefit to the students. So very proud of that program.
Ms. Peak, I'd like to add that I'm also extremely proud of this principal and what he's accomplished. And Mr. Lafitte, would you mind telling them where you started your educational career? Thank you, sir.
Who happened to be the principal?
That was some 17 years ago, wasn't it, Jason?
You forgive
Oh,
him for
wow.
that mandatory transfer.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great job. All right, we're going to move on to citizens' requests. Before I call them up here, I'd like to remind the citizens that delegates or citizens will have 5 minutes to make their presentations. The good name and/or character of an individual may not be discussed during open board meeting. And our superintendent, Ms. Peak, will keep the time for that. The first name on the list is Ms. Cynthia Cunningham. Ms. Cunningham? Right up here to the microphone, please, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm a parent of a student in Mobile County Public School System. And basically, one of the most important questions I wanted to ask was, who within our school system is responsible for ensuring that the policies are followed, students are treated fairly, and students are not denied their rights within the system?
Ultimately, it's the superintendent.
Okay. I wanted to know also if, does the parents have a right to be classroom observers?
Local school policy, depending on what has been stipulated in the policy and the guidelines that you would get. If it's in reference to a particular school, I can ask one of the assistant superintendents to work with you on it.
Okay. Is there anyone in the school system that informs the students of their rights?
The code of conduct, yes, is there, and it's published online and also in the schools.
Okay. Okay, and well, the other question I'd like to ask was, is it important for the students to know the resource officer that's in the school if he's making decisions on behalf of the student's behavior?
The resource officers interact with the students, and as I said, Ms. Cunningham, if it's specific into a school that you're referring to, if you want to let me know, I can ask one of the assistant superintendents to meet with you. I don't know if you've talked with any of them before, but they can answer your questions, schedule appointments for you.
Okay, well, the reason I asked was because my child was within a system, within a school for 2 school terms, and she had no recognition of who the resource officer was or anything. So, you know, that's why I was concerned about that as well.
Yes, ma'am. If you'll let me know, I'll get an assistant superintendent to work with you.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Our next speaker is Mr. Lorenzo Evans Sr.
Ms. Moore, Did you take care of him? She's taking care of him.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
All right. Well, that's all of our citizen requests today. Ms. Peak, we'll go on to the action items.
Action items, G1. These are all the items that we covered in the work session. There have been no changes to any of the agenda items. Action item G1 will ask that you approve an agreement with the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners and Pittsco Incorporated. This is to provide intervention program for at-risk students. This is primarily the program that is used at Pathway Academy. This is $300,000, and this is funds that have been appropriated by the state legislature for this program.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, in light of the fact that we have discussed all of these items, vetted all of these items during the board work session on this past Monday, I'd like to move approval of items 1 through 14.
Second.
All right. Then thank you for making that announcement, Dr. Foster. We have a motion, and I'll second, that we approve action items G1 through 14. Do we have any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Action item G15 is a contract with the Mobile Area Education Foundation to continue to implement the Partners in Education program. This program's been managed by the Area Education Foundation for a number of years. This was through the grant process. It's local funds, $100,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir?
offer motion to approve action items 15 through 28.
Second.
We have a motion to approve action items 15 through 28 with a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Action items H, consent agenda. We'd ask that you approve out-of-county travel, H1.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
move approval of items 1 and 2 under the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 1 and 2. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Action item I would present to you and ask that you approve expulsions, student expulsions 1 through 9 as listed under separate cover.
Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
so move we approve action items 1 through 9 under the student expulsions.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second to approve under student expulsions, action items 1 through 9. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We present in agenda item J, information items for your reference. Information item J1, monthly financial statements. J2, purchase orders of $5,000 and over.
Okay. We have any item discussion today? Any old business? Any board superintendent request? Pending matters, Mr. Counselor? No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one there. I got ahead of you, I was looking right at you there. Any pending matters? All right, Mr. Attorney. Attorney-client privilege.
I sent 2 emails to the board, one on Monday regarding a proposed suspension agreement, and one of them yesterday regarding the board, requesting the board grant authority to Ms. Peak and Tommy Sheffield and I to work on a matter. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
offer motion to concur with the recommendation of the attorney on the 2 said matters.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the cases that the attorney has given us. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? So carries. Scheduling of meetings, Ms. Peak.
We have the regular scheduled January board meetings stand as they are. I would also like to make you aware of an opportunity. Many of our schools are involved in the Capturing Kids' Heart program, a similar program to Leader in Me. On January the 4th, the person who is the lead on Capturing Kids' Hearts will be at Mary G. Montgomery High School, presenting to that feeder pattern. It will start at 8:30 on January the 4th in the Mary G. Montgomery Auditorium, if you'd like to go to see the program. Also, in consulting with our liaison, Beth Marietta Lyons, who works with us in the legislature, we've scheduled a date, January the 11th, for our annual legislative delegation meeting. That's a Monday. That is a date that is available for the legislators. We would like to ask you if it's okay to go ahead and plan that meeting, if it fits your schedule, for Monday, January the 11th at 10 a.m. at Callaway Smith Middle School in the library. Mrs. Walton has agreed to host that. Very central location for everyone to be able to reach easily.
Is that any problems with scheduling, gentlemen? Ms. Chambers, I assume you will get out those dates to us? Okay. Thank you very much. Any other, I guess we don't have anybody else here.
The only other thing, only other date on the calendar I'd like to mention, December the 25th is Christmas.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to wish each one of you a very Merry Christmas, and I hope that you have a great New Year also. Merry Christmas.
Same here, Ms.
Same
B.
to you.
Absolutely. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Why are you looking over here, Mr. Springfield?
Well,
So
I don't know why, Dr. Crenshaw.
Second.
I hear a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. All right, we're adjourned.
That's okay.